It is November 4th, 6:36, and I'm calling the Finance Committee meeting to order. Okay, we're going to take things a little bit out of order just so that we can get Rick home before we go through all of our minutes. So Rick is the head of the Zoning Board of Appeals, chairman.
Yeah.
And he is here tonight to ask for reserve fund transfers to fund his account because he's overspent. Not overspent. There wasn't enough budgeted. Right. You're not overspent. It's
It's been a crazy year for him.
The thing is, we don't know how much business we're going to get in a year yet.
right. In case anybody doesn't know, they are working on new fees. And
Yes.
do you think we can get those fees into effect by January 1st?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's already in progress. We're redoing the rules and a new fee schedule as part of that. And I guess Dave George is helping us out now.
Good. Okay. So,
Karen,
yes.
does that ultimately going to result in a revolving type fund that'll allow them to
There is a
pay for it
potential
rather than
for
to go
that
to the
at
general?
that's a
That's
potential
what
coming
Ronnie
and
mailed us.
that's the potential for in the spring. They have to discuss that with Dan and everybody else, but as of right now, we're just getting them through the end of this fiscal year.
Fiscal year.
Yeah,
Okay.
fiscal year, June 30th, as long as we can get them through that, so.
All right.
So can
Oh.
you read this and make a motion to accept?
I make a motion to, is that what I'm doing correctly?
Yep.
Request is hereby made for the following transfers from the reserve fund in accordance with Chapter 40, Section 6 of the Massachusetts General Laws. Number 1, amount requested, $1,005. Number 2, to be transferred to account number 001-176-5120-000. 3, present balance in said appropriation, $15. 4, the amount requested will be used for: there's currently a balance of $15 remaining in the line item for clerical wages. In the first quarter of the fiscal year, Tamika was paid $335. By means of estimation, an average of $335 for the remaining 3 quarters will total $1,005. Number 5, this expenditure is extraordinary and/or unforeseen for the following reasons. Due to more stringent enforcement of the zoning bylaws by the building inspector, the Board of Appeals has seen an increase in applications that is unlike previous years. As a result, the board's secretary has been working increased hours processing applications and attending public hearings.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
That was the whole motion? Wow.
That's,
I mean, okay, that's
Faulty.
kind of long. No,
That's
I
the
know,
reason.
no.
Uh,
Usually the
that's-
motion is just this.
no,
and that.
those are inappropriate forms. You can throw
I
those away.
understand that.
These are reserve fund. These are reserve funds.
All right, so the only question I have is what reserve is it coming from?
Our reserve fund that we have for $25,000 that we have.
This is the FinCom reserve?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
No, you can leave those out so we can still see the information.
Any other discussion? Okay,
This is one of 2, correct?
that is correct.
Gotcha.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Okay, and then, can you read that one for me?
Give you work.
Yeah, gives you something to do.
I make a motion, the request is hereby made for the following transfers from the reserve fund in accordance with Chapter 40, Section 6 of the Massachusetts General Laws. Number 1, amount requested, $2,526. Number 2, to be transferred to account number 001-176-5200-020. 3, present balance in said appropriation, -$658. Number 4, the amount requested will be used for: the Board of Appeals currently does not have any funds remaining in the purchase services account line item to pay for the costs associated with holding public hearings. The amount requested reflects current charges of $686 that are past due to Gatehouse Media in an estimation of 1 hearing per month. The cost of 1 legal and for ad for a public hearing is $168, so I multiplied that by the remaining numbers of months in the fiscal year, December through June 30th, 2021. If we are unable to pay the invoices owed, the Telegram and Gazette will no longer allow us to publish our hearing notices, which is required under Mass General Law. The AC is currently in the negative by $658, so that amount is also included in order to bring the account back to a 0 starting balance. Number 5, this expenditure is extraordinary and/or unforeseen for the following reasons. Due to more stringent enforcement of the zoning bylaws by the building inspector, the Board of Appeals has seen an increase in applications that is unlike previous years. As a result, the board has incurred additional fees for publication of hearing notices and town council review on certain applications.
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion?
Is that the same account as the last one?
No,
Reserve?
this is purchase, it's from reserve and it goes to their
That's-
purchase
that's
services.
just
Both of
yours,
these are
it's the
reserve
same
fund.
account, that's
Both of
all.
these are reserve fund.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. There you go.
Oh,
See?
thank you very much.
All that for,
You thought this was gonna be difficult.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
All right, so we'll move forward with setting up that account.
Yes.
And we'll definitely get the new
The
fee
biggest thing,
schedule.
yeah, the new fee
Yeah.
schedule, that'll be a big
Yeah.
thing. That'll at least help
Yeah.
for going forward.
Right, okay, well, thank you all very much.
All right.
thanks for coming
All right,
down.
take care.
Thank you.
Have a
Great
good
night.
See ya.
Sure. Bye.
So the current charge for what they were doing wasn't even coming close to covering the costs?
The current, and then they got hit with a bunch of them, because then the new building inspector there is hitting everybody up for things, and everybody's gotta do differently, so I guess it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah, but at least if the fees cover it, it'd be less.
They used to have quite a few hearings during the year, and then we changed some of our bylaws. So the planning board came in and they had special permits rather than people always having to go looking for a variance. So the special permit covered a whole bunch of things from before, so their hearings dropped right almost to nothing for several years. And now they're, like Darren just said, they've bounced back now because of other reasons.
Yeah, this is the busiest we've been in the 4 years that I've worked on the board. We would maybe get an application a year. We've been very busy.
Okay. Ron asked the Board of Selectmen to sign a letter to say to the school that we would like to limit their increase to 2.5%.
So,
So,
He wants us to do the same, right?
he didn't, he would appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's, so ultimately, what this is saying is it wouldn't mean that Rutland would get a 2.5%, but as long as they started with a 2.5%, we'd have less of a concern
So 2.5% overall.
overall.
Right.
So, the select board has signed the letter. I think it's probably, I know myself, I think it's a good idea. I'm not sure where it's going, but at
It
least,
doesn't hurt.
right.
Definitely seems appropriate.
Okay, so can I get a motion to sign a letter?
Do you know if Mr. Ron has gotten anybody else, any other towns? Have they got this consensus of all the towns to do it?
Yes, at Monday's select board meeting, it was stated that he has all 5 towns.
ooh,
Oh,
okay.
Because that was of interest. He didn't before, so.
Yeah, he's got,
Yeah, he had said he had 3
yep,
before.
he got all 5. That's what he said in Monday's select board meeting, right? I didn't make that up?
I think Paxton, he's still waiting on a
Oh,
response from
okay,
Paxton,
sorry.
So almost all.
Okay, but I don't
He
foresee,
anticipates that they-
I don't foresee that will be an issue.
Paxton probably not. That wouldn't be the town that we would have thought
Right.
we would have had an issue from, so.
So,
So
Do
I'll
you
make a
have those,
motion.
you have a copy of the letter?
it's on your Google Drive?
Oh,
It's on your Google Drive?
okay.
So I'll make
My
a
computer
motion
doesn't
that the
cooperate
finance,
very
Rutland
well.
Finance Committee follows suit with a letter, supporting the 2.5% increase.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Could we, yeah, I would love to see it, but I can look on the Google Drive too.
Do you? Don't know where on the Google Drive, do you?
You
Let's
put
see.
the letter on the Google Drive?
Where did-
I thought that's what it said.
No, Ron has not written the letter. The letter has not been written.
No, well, I saw them email. There was an
Okay.
email that was sent out.
I thought that the letter was already signed.
No, that was a late breaking development, that was not the case. That the letter has not been drafted yet, nor has it been signed.
Okay.
All right, so let me amend my motion. My motion. I'd like to be able to amend the motion to be able to say that if and when the town administrator prepares a letter indicating that they would like the Wachusett Regional School District to limit their increase in total to 2.5%, that the FinCom would support that.
Second,
Okay. Any other
as
discussion?
adjusted.
As just-
We did talk about this our last meeting a little bit. He
Yeah.
mentioned it, and we
Yeah.
talked about it a little
Yeah.
bit.
It was brought up on Monday's select board meeting, and I was under the impression that was the one that Lyndon signed that said he thought that the whole committee should sign.
Lyndon and Leah are on, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, but the last email I got from Ron said that the letter had not even been written yet, and let alone signed.
Yeah, I don't see any emails about
But
that.
Leah,
So.
Lyndon,
I don't
and-
remember seeing
I thought it
anything.
said it would be in the I get a lot of emails every day, so.
It's
They all
Leah.
catch up the same after a while.
Mhm.
They do, especially the long
So
ones that we
Tommy's
don't read.
Google Drive might be working properly, he just couldn't see it because it wasn't there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Okay.
a better point.
Well, I didn't really look for it because I didn't notice it.
You knew it wasn't there,
I
okay.
know, Mike,
Well, I just took a quick look and it's not obvious.
Yeah, okay.
My computer doesn't get everything that comes out.
It'd be nice if one of your coffee conversations with him, that you could ask him that when he asks us for something, actually do what he's supposed to do before he wants us to vote on something, because we would love to support him, but tell him to get his proverbial finger and do what he's supposed to do, because every time we're gonna be coming down the trail that he's gonna bust us. So I'm not afraid. I'll even make that phone call tomorrow morning for coffee if you'd like.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, great. Okay. The minutes of October 14th.
I'll make the motion that we accept the minutes of October 14th as documented.
Is that the one
Second.
with the selectmen?
No, yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
yes, both of these.
Not
Both
last
of them
week's.
was like,
This was the board, this was the budget review.
Yes.
Yeah.
that was a quick one.
Yeah, which I have some information on too. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. Minutes of October 28th.
So, there was a conversation out in the hallway, so let me make the motion
Mhm.
to approve the minutes of the meeting, the FinCom meeting of October 28th, with the proviso that the citizen petition article is put back into the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
To what, that's not, I didn't really.
The minutes are missing the citizens petition discussion,
Okay, all right.
so,
Yeah, that, if we discuss it, it should be in there.
yes.
Yeah, I forgot to put it in there.
That
It was an
that
oops.
was a doozy.
It was an
of
oops.
minutes for me.
The whole night was a
My
doozy.
All right.
So-
You did fine.
I don't know. I read those and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah,
It was a lot of
I
talking.
should have told you to do it like if you needed to go to bed and
yeah.
you weren't really sleepy yet.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. All right, I did start, Carol and I went, I have some of the stuff, not all of the stuff, for the budget review, the expense review. I expect to have that out within the next week or so. I have to write a couple of emails to get some other information, because looking at the warrants for payroll isn't gonna answer our questions, so I'm gonna write some emails. But other than that, we've got a good chunk of it figured out already, so I'll scan it and send it on over, and it'll be,
So we can get the detail.
yes, The detail looks a lot like this.
Some of a gun.
It gives you the warrant number. It gives you the voucher in the warrant. It gives you everything.
So you can just take the voucher and go to
Exactly.
the file.
Yeah, we looked up all the questions that we had in less than an hour.
Wow.
So why is not so readily available?
Probably wasn't requested, that's just Darren's guess.
Oh, no, it was requested.
Which
Yeah.
button you
No,
push
but
on
by
that
the right
3%?
person.
No, it was.
She's the right person.
It was requested of the right people that have the,
oh,
anyway, it's not important. We didn't get it, now we got it, and we will continue to get it.
Move ahead, not go back.
Exactly. It's not, no use dwelling on it. So the only other piece of information that I have is that we were approached by the school.
District
To do
or?
what?
December 9th, which is a Thursday night, beginning at 6:30, they'd like to have a fiscal year 22 budget roundtable. They would like a member from each select board and one finance committee member, as well as the 5 town administrators.
And
Anybody interested in going?
so
What night is it?
It's Thursday night at 6:30,
Which one?
December
December 9th.
9th. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Where is it?
Holden Senior Center.
That's
Would that-
the last time I went to one of these, I almost slept in the cellar because the wheelchair lift wasn't working.
So is there,
Is that let me ask Ted, is that get you in trouble if you went?
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
No, I mean, I went before as just a teacher that had some interest.
Okay.
Because anyway, it's open.
It's a public
open to
meeting.
public.
Anybody
It is a
can go
public
that wants to
meeting.
go.
so what's the intention of the quote-unquote round table? Or is there an intention? It's just a party.
Well, the bottom line is try to get them to stick to the two, what that letter's gonna say.
In the past, it's
Right.
always been to have an open and honest discussion about what the towns can afford versus what, and usually it's, I want 3%, I want 2.5%, but there's supposed to be a letter that comes out, and the letter never comes out. That's a lovely meeting,
could I ask a question?
certainly.
Will Ron's said letter that we voted on, if he gets it done, be there before December?
I don't
That
know.
meeting?
I don't know.
Could we request that?
I would hope so.
I would hope all the towns would
Well,
have their meeting,
well,
their letters
I
by
mean,
then.
basically, what would happen is probably they'll have some people speak, the school will probably talk about what their initial thoughts are on a budget. They'll probably ask each of the town administrators to say something, and hopefully Ron would say, if it's
Right.
not
To me.
there yet, then
No, that's me.
it might be coming.
And they asked the selectmen that might be there if they wanna say, put in their 2 cents, and the finance committee person that's there can say something. And usually it's the same stuff. Look, we can't afford this, we don't have enough money for that, please keep the number down to something, and everybody goes, yeah, and then,
But the reality is that you're just gonna go ahead and do what they would normally do, which is go into their little conclave and come up with numbers and then send it out to people. So that's the reality of what we should expect out of this. Then they're gonna come to us and they're gonna present to us how well they did. And in the end, we're gonna find out where we're gonna
This
stand.
is mainly for them to hear our concerns.
well, it would be good if somebody went, it would be good if you
Yes.
went, because you have a good handle on them.
No.
Nice try though, Tom.
You do.
I have been there now twice, and I would rather have my fingernails pulled out than go
I know,
in.
I've been to a couple of those
Because
too,
they
and it's
don't,
not-
they don't amount to anything, and I'd rather not waste an evening at a very busy time of the year.
So pulling out the fingernails sort
Well-
of gets me out of this thing too. I'm like,
Yeah, it's, myself, not speaking as a member of the finance committee, myself, I do not find that this is a beneficial evening.
Well, I'll do you a favor. I'll go, because I'd have fun at it.
Great.
But listen, wait a minute, before you say this, though.
But you gotta go.
There's one, I need a little ammunition from I'm not afraid to speak up, but I want to know exactly what us as a group think, where we're gonna be and what we need by then.
Sure. I'll make sure you get it.
No, right? I
Yep.
mean, but as long as we understand,
That's fair.
as a group, I think by then, we should have a relatively good idea.
It's not a problem. I gotta write to Randy Jacob before you change your mind and tell her that you're going.
That's fine, but I'm just saying that I need
Sure.
backup. Or I don't want to, I gladly
Well, if we're-
speak and gladly
If we're
fight
gonna
the
sign on
fight.
to a letter that says,
Right.
please
Right.
hold it to 2.5%,
That's one of them.
you can't go there and say 3 or
Right.
2.
Right.
You go there
It's
and
two-
say,
and a
right.
half.
So then- And I just want to make sure that we,
Sure. We can make sure that we have those discussions. That won't be an issue. We can have those.
we have a meeting for that?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll make sure.
yeah, we'll have the annual town meeting.
Yeah. So, just as a point of information on that, when that occurs, when that meeting occurs, the dialogue that goes on, are we capable of providing information as to what we think they need to be able to do? Are they gonna talk about, well, salaries are going here, and then they're gonna talk about maybe, with the amount of money that we got in free cash this year? I know that they were hurting for funds last year, or so they said, so are they would they share that with us, do you know?
Not typically. Typically what
They
we.
should, but
Right, typically the discussion is the 5 towns saying, we can afford 2%, we can afford 3%, we can afford, it's gonna be a tough budget season, blah, blah, blah. It's more of that kind of a discussion.
My feeling, and someone can correct me, I think that I'm gonna go there to try to
Beat 'em down.
support the, what's that?
Beat them down?
No, well, but
Yeah.
support the 2.5% at the maximum,
Yeah.
right? And that's the high water mark. We know, but,
that's what I was just gonna make a comment on, because what Ted just said, we can't sign a letter at 2.5% and go in and start putting.
Right.
So the 2.5 is the high mark, but you can go in there and say, look, we agree at this, and we really would like to hold it to that if we can, or less.
Right, or
Because
less.
over the years, you've been way higher. And number 2 is, if you could go less than that, that would also give us some relief to maybe get some money back into our department budgets that we've been squeezing out for the last 8 or 10 or 12 years.
They're not gonna care about that, though.
Oh, I understand that, but you gotta say something,
Yeah,
right?
you wanna make
You gotta
that-
plead
that
your
point.
case, and you gotta say something.
Yeah.
I'm a
you
little
got 5
concerned that
people saying
they're gonna
that.
look
Right.
at the number that we have.
In
free
the
cash.
end, it's select board, finance committee, and school management. There are some members of the school board that come, but not all of them.
Okay.
So the problem comes in where we, as a group of the 5 towns of finance committees and select boards, understand the budgeting process and the trials and tribulations versus necessarily, I'm not sure that all of the school committee.
And usually our senator and rep are there.
Yep, some of
So-
them,
so-
yep, because
so-
Harriet's
Well,
been
the
there.
times I was there, I know they were
Yep,
there.
yep.
And, they give a little bit of an overview picture of what's coming from the state, or what they think is
Right.
coming from the state,
Right.
because that budget never gets done till way over there. It's too
Right.
late for our town meetings,
So-
basically. You're right. So,
What time is it at?
6:30. You want me to send out this invitation?
sure.
Anyone's allowed to go.
Oh,
You can go
Oh,
and sit
so-
in the gallery if you want. It's just that they limit how many people sit around the table.
okay.
It's December 9th.
Yep.
And again, I haven't been for a couple of years now, but like you said, they usually have seats for those that you just said representing the ones you just said.
Yep.
And then the other people can sit right behind them,
Right.
basically, in chairs that are right behind
Right.
where they're
In
sitting.
the
so-
gallery. Yep,
And that's the senior center, so that's right up by the center of town, right?
Correct.
that is correct.
And what time did you say?
6:30. I'll send out the invitation so that you guys will have it. So, Tom, as we've all seen, free cash came in higher. You had mentioned at our meeting on last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week, that if it came in higher, we'd want to put more money into you thought it would be a good idea to put more money away in the capital stabilization
Oh,
account.
yes.
So Ron did send out an email this afternoon saying he came up with an additional 38,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
I think
something
should
like
go
that.
into it.
Into the stabilization fund?
No,
No,
into
capital
stabilization. So a recommendation, so if we're all amenable, he said we could add another 30, we could really add any number we want, but his recommendation was $38,620.69 to be added to the capital stabilization.
This is at the special town meeting on the articles that we would talked about?
This is on the town meeting, yep.
Okay,
So that's
from the
it.
articles from last
Yeah,
week.
so what we would do is instead of doing the 5%, we would do
Instead of
an
50,000,
additional,
it's an additional
well, it's an
30.
even, yeah, but is this the new one?
That's the new one.
Okay, so yeah, so it would be 80.
So
So,
that would be just for the capital stabilization.
just capital stabilization.
The
And
other
like
two
Tom,
stabilizations.
and like Tommy said, we're in desperate need of so much that it would probably be a smart place to put a savings account.
So why 38,000? I mean, from my, just
Except,
doing the math, for me, it says that when it's all said and done, there's 350 grand.
yeah, he wanted to leave $300,000 for any oopses.
For what?
Any oopses.
Yeah, that's,
If we have a really bad season with fires and we have more overtime, or we have, I don't know, some kind of major
Well, I think the,
things.
But that's 30%.
but that would
free
give us
cash.
some options at the annual town meeting next
Right,
spring.
exactly. It doesn't mean that we can't. I'm
Right.
just saying this is just a way
Right.
to bolster it. I mean, I know
I
that
guess I'm
was,
answering what Pete's asking.
Right.
If that number stays high that's
Right.
still in there, that gives us a little more flexibility when we get to the
and all it
annual
does
town
is roll
meeting.
over to free cash. If we don't spend it, it rolls
Right.
over to free cash the next year. So it's not like we lose it, we just,
Yeah, we know, yeah.
But that
don't
number
lose it.
goes down too if that citizen's petition passes too.
For the 80, is that the 88,000?
88.
Yeah, that would
But
go down a
there's
little
already,
bit.
but there is a petition there for $30,000 to fund things that were in that citizen petition.
No, the article was the 30,000. The town,
Yes,
right, they had the.
You're gonna find yourself in the basement here.
He put a $30,000 article on
right,
there.
right. So shouldn't we
Yeah.
use that article to mitigate the request? It's $88,000.
No, I think the 30,000, I'm just saying my 2 cents.
It's
I
okay.
think the 30,000 is enough to give them right now.
Okay, all right. I wouldn't dispute that.
Madam Chairwoman?
so,
And we can, when they get down the road further, they can come back to us and ask for more money if they
Okay.
need to.
okay.
I'm good.
where is this citizen's petition in here?
It's not,
It's
on
not
that list,
listed.
it's not.
It was on the old list. It was the very last.
Very last article.
Or warrant, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
It's
I
88,000.
left all mine at home.
Madam Chair?
So
hear
do
me?
you want to make that motion?
Ron, there's a
I can
chat
look-
that I
well,
don't
was
think
it-
they can hear
Is
us.
there general consensus that we want to do that before I
They're working on
make
it.
a motion?
Isn't that what the discussion's for?
Exactly.
Well, no, we can still have discussion, I'm just saying, it's, if there's 6 no's here, I don't want to, there's no sense in making a motion, but if we're generally thinking that's,
Can I see that?
then we can,
So what do you, Tommy, what number would you like to have?
I didn't have a number in mind, I just said, if we had more money, because last year when there was a couple of things.
Right, they
or
can't
at least
hear
one
us
thing I know
at
that I suggested, look at, instead of taking out a free cash, we were so low, take it out of
So they're
capital
working on
stable and pay, it was a truck for the DPW?
I think it was,
something?
yes. Because we put the,
Right.
we put the 5% in, and then we took part of it out to pay for it, yes.
Right,
Yep.
so I'm just saying we could put some of that, because they certainly have a long list of things they'd like to fund, so.
I mean, at the end of the day, what's the difference between having the money in a capital stabilization fund as opposed to free cash?
Not much.
Uh,
But the difference is, generally speaking, with the capital stable, once they give, the whole idea of that is people that make their requests, if they check off all the boxes, then, okay, that's the one we should buy, and it would come out of there. And you're not dependent on either free cash or something else. The money is in that.
How much money is in the account right now?
I don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head what we've got in there.
But
The
how much do we usually keep?
Right now, we're putting about 5% in every year of free cash. We just started this 3-4 years ago.
Okay, so we touched the money that's in there?
We've touched a little bit, yes.
Yeah,
But the
yeah, it's been used.
But the nice thing is that it's kind of like when you get a bonus check, you put it in your savings account, so we can still use it. It takes 2/3 of the town to vote to remove it. It just can't be removed at a moment's notice, but it takes 2/3 of a vote. But at least it allows us a savings account versus when it's free cash,
Thank you.
it's not earmarked for any one thing, so it can go to anything.
So is there any reason why
A
we
lot
shouldn't
more
just?
easily.
Huh?
A lot more easily.
Easily, yeah,
You're right, easily, right.
right.
Can I,
Yep, go ahead.
going back to, it's partly to answer your question, back when I used to ask for fire trucks, it was always, well, we really don't have the money right now, we can't really do that, can you wait till the fall? Then the fall would come and say, well, geez, we don't have enough for cash to go in the spring. Then the spring would come, it's the same thing, we didn't have enough money. So the capital stabilization was set up so there was money in there, so now you said, yeah, here's the piece of equipment that we need, and the money is sitting there. Not trying to beg from raise and appropriate, other free cash, whatever, because there's always something else competing for that stuff.
So would it make more sense just to be able, instead of having a specific $38,000 number, let's just say, instead of doing 5% in Article 2, we do 10?
Well, I don't really care either way. It's just that his email to us this afternoon said
Oh, I didn't get
Yeah.
that.
an additional 38 to 620.69 to be
And
added.
where does
he
that number
probably
come
took
from?
He
Can
probably took
anyone
1% or
see the
something.
messages
Hear where it comes from?
that I put on them? Can they?
Could you please ask Mr. San Angelo to explain where the 38,000 comes from?
I would if you could hear me.
That,
Is he here?
it,
Yep.
Oh, there.
Hey, Ron, could you tell us where you got the $38,000?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Audio's
Can
not-
you hear me?
Type it in the chat.
All right, I checked.
Yeah, we could make it, we'd just make it 40,000 even.
Yeah, could you make it just a flat
I mean,
number?
Yeah.
From
Why
what it
can't-
reads,
Yeah,
it
but why-
looks like there was
why
the
don't we
remainder
tell them
bringing
80,000?
total down to 300.
Well,
so
Yeah, but we got 300
So
bucks.
it was
Right.
basically making.
But I
it
don't-
They
a
can't
number.
hear us.
I don't have enough
He wants the
information on what else is there.
$300,000 even, so,
Right.
I mean,
So that's what
he wants
rationale
300, he
is-
wants 300,000 and left at the end, and they can't hear us, and
Okay,
I can hear you, I just can't, you can't hear
But if
me.
it goes
we
to 300
can't hear what, yeah.
But
okay.
if it goes to 300,000 and then that citizen's petition passes, that's 88,000 gone.
That
So you're
could
down to
screw it up, too.
just roughly 200,000.
I don't think the intention is to let it go, well, you're right, it can go at anything.
So it's not, but it's not earmarked, 38,000 or whatever the number isn't specifically earmarked for anything in particular.
No,
It's just the amount of money less 300,000 that,
you're right, and the only reason you put it in capital stabilization is just a savings account for capital purchases, that's it.
that's
Didn't you say there was 350 in free cash?
when things are done.
Did I hear, or did I mishear that?
Yeah, I thought I heard you say something like
No, no,
350,
what I
348
said-
or 350.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be 338 if everything passes.
Yeah, but 338,
Oh, maybe that's where we got the
I
38
didn't
from.
do any of the numbers yet, guys.
That's what
I
I said.
haven't done any of the numbers, so,
so
I just didn't know if there
this
was a
email
start
came
of
out
350
today at
and they put
10:55,
We're
and
doing
I didn't
something
do
with-
I
I
anything.
didn't
checked,
see
I
that. I
checked
didn't
the
read
math.
that.
It
What
did-
was
it
his
did come
number
out to
again,
that.
please?
38,000,
620.
620.69.
That's,
All right,
that's,
so-
yeah.
And
I'm
that's,
not
and
gonna
that's, so
say
that
it
would
is.
leave 300,000.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
He's-
I would
there
tell
is
you,
something going on.
I would
Yeah.
tell you that the number excluding Article 14, because 14 is included in.
I don't
the free
have
cash.
my
No,
motions.
I understand.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't have
just
my
telling-
motions tonight.
I'm just telling you what
Okay.
I've gone ahead and done. In the previous iterations that we excluded Article 14 because it's labeled as raise and
Ambulance.
appropriate.
Appropriate.
So we weren't including it in the free cash calculation.
Yes,
So if that's out, then we have $352,906.40.
He's saying, I expect there will be an amendment on the floor to spend $77.59 from free cash. This will leave us with 300,000.
For amendment on the floor for what?
He's asking us to
stipends.
make.
We did not put
Yeah.
back stipends,
Got it.
and there is a
Was the number
Individual.
38 or 30?
30.
30.
It's 30.
38,
No,
70?
38.
38, 6, 20,
So he's
69.
saying if you take the 7750 out of
out.
the 38, then that's how you, so he's saying to make a motion for the 30,000, not the 38,000.
But it's not 38,000, it's 52,000.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
No, it's
Hi,
no,
how are
it's
you?
38.
Let me stick up the sound here.
Includes 14,000.
Hold on. Guys,
285.71. It's in
Slightly.
That's the.
it is polite.
We don't have to have this meeting on the screen either.
We do, because we posted it that way. We have no choice.
We're
Once
gonna
you
stop
post,
doing that.
once you post it that way, you have to do it this way.
I'm sick of playing games.
Okay, Ron, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Let me kind of just explain it, folks. My goal, and when I did this and I made the recommendation for the amount to put in the 30,000, was it 30,008? No, hold on, let me look the number.
30,870.69.
38,620.69. My goal was to leave $300,000 in free cash, so if we had any problem during the annual town meeting or something came up, we would have a balance of $300,000. So I changed my recommendation only because I know there's going to be an amendment, which frankly I would support, on the floor to put in $7,750 to give back the stipends to the planning board and the board of selectmen and the board of assessors and stuff. So that's why I said put $30,870.69 in capital stabilization. Now Karen is completely right in that it really doesn't matter if it's in capital stabilization or free cash. The only difference, the only problem with putting in capital stabilization is, as Karen said, you need a 2/3 vote to take money out of it. If you leave it in free cash, you can just have a regular straight line vote for it. But it doesn't matter a real lot. But, keep in mind that all the money we're spending on the warrant, a big chunk of it's going to capital items anyway. So if it's in the capital stabilization account or we're spending on capital items, it's the same purpose. So I guess I'm being picky and I don't care a real lot. But I guess I'm asking, Tommy, I wanted to put some more money in that capital stabilization. So I'm recommending $30,870.69, and that, with the amendment that we expect on the floor, will leave us at $300,000. Now, I don't have any control over the citizens' motion, so yeah, more money could be added from that, but I'm not inclined to support any more money than the $30,000 that I've already put in. And I'm hoping that Senator Goby and Representative Ferguson can give the 300th anniversary committee some more money from there.
Right.
Keep in mind that the 250th anniversary, we only gave them $25,000, so I think $30,000 is an appropriate number for the 300th anniversary. If we get more in other sources, that's great.
Ron, we had a discussion tonight to sign that letter that I thought you had already drafted. We have that roundtable on December 9th. Could we have that letter to us at least 2 weeks before December 9th so we can sign it and have a discussion so that our representative will be prepared?
Absolutely. We haven't even drafted the letter yet. I was waiting for Paxton to be the last town to sign on to the 5 towns. And then me and Peter from Holden are going to draft up a letter that I'm hoping that all the towns can agree to sign, that will send both to the school committee and also probably at the same time some kind of newspaper article, because we want the general public to know the position of the 5 towns. So, you guys would be definitely a huge benefit to add on to that. And I can work with the finance committee to figure out, if we can get a separate newspaper article or it's just a letter to the, the school committee, whatever way you want to do it. Anything you guys add and any other finance committee in the town adds is a really good thing. So I'm happy to work with you guys to develop that.
So part of our discussion, I don't know if you heard it, is we're going to go to this budget roundtable meeting, letting everybody know that the 2.5 is the high water mark. And we don't want to go there, just so you're on the same page with us. So when you guys draft your...
That's clearly the intent of all the towns to do exactly that. But
well, make sure that
we're not going to wait to say that at that roundtable, because as Karen said, and she's absolutely right, whatever we say at the roundtable, they don't seem to care. Because last year, all 5 towns said to keep the budget down. We all came out and said, don't make it more than, I think it was 3%. And instead, they raised the budget, in our case, over 6%. So the roundtable is intended for towns to be able to speak their mind. but it was clear that the administration nor the school committee cared 2 cents what we had to say at that meeting. Well, that's why I know that Karen's frustrated about going, Mitch was frustrated about going, but we're going to send that 2.5 message to them well before that roundtable, and we're going to make it public well before that roundtable.
But will your intention in that letter to state that that's the high water mark? I don't want to go in and say.
That is the amendment as it was drafted, that's the high water mark. We drafted, if you saw the amendment that was done before the Board of Selectmen, the amendment said no more than 2.5% period. That's the high water mark.
Okay, as long as your letter states that.
Well, that's exactly the position of all, well, I can only say 4 towns right now because we're waiting on the Paxton vote, but I'm expecting Paxton's gonna vote with us, but that's the 4 to 5 towns have already said that 2.5 is the maximum.
So we need it by the town meeting.
Yeah, we're gonna have it soon. I mean, Paxton's voting soon if they haven't voted already. And then I gotta connect with Peter and start working on drafting the letter and, getting it all ready, because I want to show the Board of Selectmen, the letter that, we're gonna send to the school committee, because they're the ones who voted it. But the letter is gonna be reflecting what the Board of Selectmen already voted on at the 2.5, so I'm expecting it's easy, but I want to at least show them what we're doing before we send it to the school committee,
Being as progressive as you are, you must already have a letter half drafted, right? So you must know what direction you're going.
Me and Peter are talking about it, so we're having discussions about it, but like I said, the letter is gonna reflect basically what the motion was. That, we're gonna be talking about the fact that, all these high increases in the past have caused all kinds of problems for the towns and making us reduce our budgets, and it's had a bad impact on town departments. So all the kind of things that are common sense to us are going to be those things that are going to be in that letter.
Well, 2 weeks before December 9th comes right around Thanksgiving, so it's coming up quick.
Yeah, no, we're going to be working on it. I've just got to get that Paxton vote. Once we have it, the town managers, administrators have already agreed, and I think that, they haven't said for sure yet, but I think the intention is to do a joint letter from all 5 towns to make it stronger, instead of individual letters from each town. But we haven't formally voted on that yet, but that, I think, is going to be the plan.
Okay. Thank you.
You are very welcome. So, truthfully, at the end of the day, Karen, I don't care if the motion is capital stabilization is 38,620.69 or 30,870.69. The 30,879, 870.69 is just me trying to keep it at 300 even, that's all.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
I'll be here.
Okay.
If you don't mind, just leave the phone on, because I can't connect with you if anything else comes up. Just kind of leave your phone there just in case.
Sure. Not a problem.
Thank you.
So the number that we're saying, this 30,000, whatever,
Yep, 30.
is that in addition to what we recommended last week on the Article 2, or would that be the full amount? I don't remember. We didn't put it on, we just,
I can't, yeah.
we voted favorable on doing the 5% is what we said 5% or whatever the free cash number was coming in at.
Well,
Can't do it.
yes, we did.
We did, it's an additional 30, it depends if you want to do the one he just said, which is 30,870.69.
Yep.
Or if you want to do the 38. It just depends if you want.
I'm ready. I just want to know
Okay.
what the first number was.
I would just say an additional 30, and then they can add it up and make sure that we did it right.
So,
Because we voted 5%.
I would make a motion then that whatever the percent, the 5% plus $31,000 would be our motion for capital stabilization at the special town meeting. And we would recommend favorably on that.
Do I have a second?
second,
Okay. Any discussion?
yeah.
Okay.
I guess my only concern here is, I don't think the numbers add up to what, I think that they should be. I think it's including almost $15,000 more than it should be extracted from free cash. I would prefer to see the motion read something to the effect that we move sufficient funds from,
On the town floor, we have to give dollars and cents. The motion has to have dollars and cents.
okay, but we're not doing the article, right? Or are we doing the article now?
What we're doing now is we're saying, we're calculating out the numbers for the motion on the floor.
Right, and so what I'm suggesting is that calculation, using the information I have today, is going to leave probably $15,000 in free cash. It'll be $315,000 instead of 300. If my math is correct.
Okay.
And so far, I think that Excel does a pretty good job. And the only reason that it's that way is because there is the raise and appropriate in Article 14 that is included in these numbers. So I would think it would be better for us to be able to say, to Ron's point about having 300,000, that we word it in such a way as that the amount that would be funded for the stabilization, for capital stabilization fund, would be appropriate to bring the free cash down to 300 grand even. I don't know how we want to do that, if we want to do that.
Just a question, could we do that on the floor? We can put the whatever number we have there, but if we know on that date that we're $15,000 out of whack, we can adjust that motion.
Well, I think we would know that, I think Ron, in fact, Ron, I bet you would know once he looks at the sheet that he put together, the one on the distribution, as of November 18th, where he has the, Article 14.
But I think
as
we're
part of
talking about the ambulance, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the-
it's
that's the
$14,000.
ambulance.
Right.
Does it really matter?
No, let's just leave it the way it
Can we
is.
just leave it at 31,000?
Right.
Well.
Oh, no, let's get the, Ron,
Yep.
can you turn down your computer, please? It gives awful feedback.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Yep, let's request the
Okay.
the prior,
So it's Article 14 for the ambulance is raise and appropriate. It doesn't
correct.
come,
The only reason that's correct is because we got additional money from Olden that wasn't included in the budget, so that's gonna pay for that, so that's
Right.
fine.
so
That's the only reason.
Pete is saying that is included in the numbers that came out of,
That would be coming.
that would be coming out of free cash.
Oh, that's a mistake then. If that's true, Pete's right, it's a mistake. That should not be in the spreadsheet I gave you. That is not coming out of free cash, so that can be added back into free cash.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That's what we needed to know.
No problem.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
So, that being said, shouldn't we, I know 14 doesn't matter,
Right.
but should we, if we're trying to shoot for that $300,000 number, I think that we should add that number in to Tommy's amendment, so whatever Tommy's, plus that 14,000 for that, just so it's, unless you guys don't think it's,
No, I think it's the right thing to do.
But what's the other thing you said? There was money coming out to replace what?
Stipends,
And how much was that?
77 something.
That's taken into account in that 31,000,
Yep. That's why it's not 38, it's 30.
Right.
which this is just to get the free cash number to a round number, folks.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Very unimportant.
Right. I mean, that's my whole thing. I'm
Just
like,
making sure we all get
$1,000
this.
here and there
Yeah.
makes no
Yeah,
difference.
We were just trying to put a little more money in.
and I
the-
agree.
In the
I mean,
capital.
though I agree 100% with you, if you don't put it away, they will spend it.
oh yeah, without a
So,
doubt.
whether
Without a
it's
doubt.
14,000 or 5, you
All
know,
right, so
I
instead-
agree with that. I'm
So
not-
instead of 31,000, you want to go to 40,000? Making just an even number and put it in it?
No, 45,000, right?
What is the, I don't understand why you need to use up that 15.
You don't.
You don't.
You don't have to.
No, I understand what it is. I understand 100% what it is.
Well, so, all I'm saying is it gets us down to, it would get us down to the 300,000 balance that he wants in that account.
Well, that's what we're shooting for, but it doesn't make any difference if it's 285 or it's
Well,
325.
no, listen,
And I'm going back to what I said earlier. If we leave the free cash alone, then in the spring, when we're looking for things that we want to put some money towards at the annual town meeting, then we have that money to use.
And don't forget, some of these motions are creating structural deficits for the budget season.
right, so, I guess my only thought is from the perspective of the audience at the town meeting, 300,000 looks better than 285. It's money that's available for us, it looks like we've got sufficient
I
funds to
don't
be
know,
able to.
310 looks better. You can use any number you want in that argument.
You're
But
right.
again, if that citizens petition passes, it goes
Yeah.
down below that.
It goes down below.
Yeah.
right
The
there.
only thing I'll say is if we have free cash, and it looks like we have free cash to spend, people may be more apt to spend it on a school budget going forward when they come back with a higher number.
That too.
That's a risk, I mean, that is really a risk when they,
So
I mean,
if we leave less in
There's the
there,
whole thing,
So-
right?
if you
so
leave
my
less
con-
in there and we move more towards the capitalization fund, then there's less available to put towards a higher school budget. when
And
it
I'm
comes.
concerned that somebody is going to see that we have $1 million in free cash and say,
The
"Oh,
school
boy."
budget even when we put out everything that we put out this year, where we were going to have to make all these cuts, they still voted the school, so it doesn't make a difference.
So do you
We
wanna
put out
change-
high
you
press
wanna
on that.
change from 31 to
50.
45 or 40?
50.
No, that's already past it. No, I don't disagree
So
with
instead
you.
of putting 50,000,858, put 100, put a.
Yeah.
Right,
50.
so that's where I was thinking maybe we don't, but I think, Ron's, your point, and Ron's point was that it's gonna take a two-thirds vote to get the money.
Right, but the nice thing is like Tommy said, it's there to spend on capital.
Yeah.
And 2/3 vote's not hard to get when you've got it in a savings account.
And it's been vetted and it's.
Right,
you
and
know,
capital
blah, 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 look at-
appropriation comes in and says
Right.
they want it, I mean, come on, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that way the money's there
Right.
for us to spend when we need it.
Okay,
So-
Make a decision, go back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Right.
So what amount of money do we want to add
That's all I
additional?
ask.
I'll rearrange my motion if you want to say that we recommend 45,000
yeah,
above our, whatever our percentage is.
45,000 additional for this capital stabilization. Okay,
with the expectation. that-
do I have a second?
Because it's still gonna be spent on something like that, so.
No, you're right, and that's okay.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Any more discussion?
Any more discussion on this?
I'm gonna use a pencil next time.
Interject with a motion to adjourn.
All right. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it passes an additional 45,000. And we recommend favorably on it, so. there you go.
Yeah, and
Yep,
recommend favorable, yeah.
yep. I think that's everything that we had on our list.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, do I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there we go.